Hey guys, Freddie Bauman here, and in this short video what I wanted to do was compare and contrast doing FBA on Amazon versus drop shipping on Amazon. Now FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon, and basically this is the process where you can source items doing retail arbitrage, source them for cheap, maybe at your dollar store, Target, Walmart, anywhere really. I have liquidation sites that I use. I use a company by the name of Infinii, and you can take those items, send them into Amazon, into their warehouse, and when somebody buys it, Amazon will ship these items on your behalf. Now, the other technique of selling on Amazon is drop shipping. Okay, and drop shipping on Amazon is basically where you're going to find a product and it's going to be selling for less on a certain website. You take that item, list it on Amazon for whatever it's currently selling for, and once you minus out your fees and you sell that item, you're still making a profit. And you're basically going to take that item, let's say you're purchasing it at Walmart or Costco or something like that, and you're just going to ship it straight from that retailer to your customer on Amazon. So let me go over some pros and cons here, and I'll tell you what I prefer and the way I do it. So here's some pros on drop shipping. The first is it basically takes little upfront capital to get started. So you can create a listing, make your sale, right? So before you're even purchasing the item, you're actually in profit. So when somebody buys that item, let's say you're selling a bike that you got from Walmart for $50 and you're selling it on Amazon for $120 after they take their fees, and maybe you pull out close to $95, you're going to keep the difference there. So you're actually in profit right away. So the second great thing about drop shipping is you can have immediate results. I mean, right now after you watch this video, you can go and list something on Amazon and it could sell in 1 hour or 5 minutes or 1 day. So you can have really quick results using this method of drop shipping on Amazon. And again, like I mentioned, you can be in profit from day one because the money coming in from Amazon is more than what you're spending on the product. Obviously, the drawback is Amazon pays every 2 weeks, so technically you'd be out of pocket, but on paper you'd be in profit from the very first day. Now, it is super easy to jump on and off listings, and I'll explain why this is different from FBA in a moment. But you can create a listing just by clicking a couple buttons, jump on that listing, and you can also do the opposite and jump off of it. And the reason you would jump off a listing is if the price you're sourcing it from, you weren't making a profit anymore, or they were out of stock, or maybe Amazon jumps on the listing. Which brings me to another pro for drop shipping is if Amazon jumps on your listing, you can just simply take your inventory down to zero, and no harm, no foul, didn't cost you anything. And because when Amazon jumps on a listing, typically it's really hard to make sales on that listing because they have the product in their warehouse and they're keeping all the profit. So of course they're gonna give the sale to themselves. Now let's talk about some cons from dropshipping. You can spend a lot of time looking for arbitrage situations. In other words, you can scour different websites. Some people start at the other websites, at the supplier website, and work backwards to Amazon. Some people start on Amazon and work backwards to the other website using different software. But it can be very time consuming. Sometimes you can spend 20, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and maybe you'll find 0 items or 1 or 2 or sometimes you might find 10. But it can be very time consuming. Another thing is you have to keep track of out of stock items. So if you're selling an item on Amazon, obviously you don't have the item in your hand, so you don't know if you have inventory of that. So if your supplier runs out, you're out of stock, and Amazon has very strict regulations on their sellers. So if you have too many out of stocks and you have to cancel sales, Amazon can technically terminate your account. And checking inventory daily, which goes hand in hand with out of stock items. That's something that can be time consuming if you have hundreds and hundreds of items. But obviously you can hire somebody to do that for you. Another thing is that retailers don't particularly like drop shippers. So some retailers such as Walmart and Target are really cracking down on drop shippers. So if they see that you're ordering the same item over and over and over and you're sending it to a bunch of different addresses, they're going to realize that you're a drop shipper and they can possibly terminate your account. Next thing is processing orders. So although that's a good thing because you're making a lot of money, it can be time consuming, right? You get 100 orders in a day, and each order might take you, 3 to 4, maybe even 5 minutes to process, depending on how fast you are. That can be a lot of minutes, right? That can, if it was 500 minutes, that would be several hours during the day that you would just spend processing orders. That can be time consuming and a little bit, racking on your brain, kind of boring. The next thing, con, is it's easy for new sellers to jump on a listing. So although that can be a pro for you in the beginning, it can be a con because you're going to have competition on listings, and people tend to drive down the prices because they want to make the sales, and which creates this kind of reverse bidding war, which is going to take you out of profit quickly on some hot items. And drop shipping is, it's kind of a thin line, but it's possibly against Amazon's terms of service. Although it's impossible for them to know where your inventory is really coming from. But if you get a lot of complaints on items not coming in time, or coming in a Walmart box or things like that, Amazon could terminate your account. Now, the thing to think about is you just need to provide really good customer service regardless, and you won't have to worry about this too much. But that's definitely a con of drop shipping. Amazon could definitely take that away in the future, so that's something to think about. Now let's talk about FBA. The pros of FBA is Amazon processes all the orders. So once you send in your item, right, you source it from wherever you source it from, send it in, you're really done. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to process it. Amazon takes care of that, and then they send you the money minus their fees. You don't have to worry about out of stock items because you know exactly how many items you sent in. So if I sent in 50 bicycles, let's say, which I wouldn't send in bicycles because they weigh too much, but let's say something smaller. Let's say I sent in 50 cups and they sell, then I'm out of stock and my listing goes down to 0. So you don't have to keep track of stock and inventory based on other people's inventory. Another pro is truly a hands-off business. Once your items are sent in, you're done. You just let Amazon sell it. I check in, a couple times a day just to make sure my prices are competitive and see if I want to raise prices or lower prices based on what some of the other sellers are doing. But it's really hands-off once your items are sent into Amazon. A few cons on FBA is that there's a large upfront capital, especially if you're doing liquidation sites, or if you really want to make money, you need that large upfront capital. You just there's ways to do it where you can go shopping at your dollar stores and start really small, but if you're in it to win it and you want to go big, there's a large upfront capital. FBA cons, you definitely have to worry about price fluctuations because you've already purchased the item. So if you purchase an item and the price fluctuates down, it can definitely fluctuate out of profit. And another thing is getting stuck with inventory. So you might buy something that you think is a hot seller, and maybe it's not selling as much as you thought, or more sellers jump on the listing, and you've already paid for that inventory, so you're stuck, which is obviously different from drop shipping because that you haven't bought the item yet, so you're not stuck with the inventory. And another FBA con is if Amazon jumps on a listing and you've already sent in your inventory, you're basically stuck until Amazon runs out of their inventory because, like I said earlier, Amazon is not going to give you the buy box when they're on the listing. Sourcing items can also be difficult if you don't know where to look. I've definitely come across that in my early days, but I'll give you some solutions here at the end of this video for sourcing items. The winner for me is definitely FBA. I don't like spending the time processing the orders. I don't like the process of searching for the retail arbitrage on the website. It just drives me a little bonkers. So although I've made a lot of money drop shipping, to me FBA is it's more of an evergreen business. You're not going to have Amazon tighten up the regulations on FBA because that's what they do, right? And it's just a set it and forget it business. Once you get that product in Amazon, things just start selling, and you might be out by the pool or you might be hanging out, and the items are selling and the money's in your account. You don't need to jump on your computer and process the order and ship it, let's say from Walmart straight to Amazon. So to me, FBA is the clear clear winner. It's definitely for people that have a little more money in their pockets to get started with. But if you were looking for some done for you FBA solutions, in other words, if I could show you a way where somebody else will go out and source the items for you, and all you need to do is buy them, and they'll actually ship them into Amazon for you, what I want you to do is click on the link right below this video, and I'll show you a way that you can automate this, very simply, just a few minutes a day, and you can just pick items off a website and have them sent into Amazon, and you can make profit. All right, guys, click on that link below, and I'll see you on the other side.